Hey there, welcome back to the table. We're getting ready to start chapter, is it 5? Oh my gosh, we're on to 5. Excuse me. Um a viewer, Andrew, pointed out something that I completely missed, and my apologies. These items have awesome little capabilities on the bottom, but I never realized they actually have a cost up here in the top left corner. So I got to pay attention to the cost before I so I did this move to attack, and there's actually a 3 cost. I know that the blade used that once, and we didn't spend any actual crystals. I still don't think it would have mattered. I think he missed one of his attacks, and we ended up not killing the thing anyways. But yes, it all matters. I get that. I just why I wanted to really quickly point out. Yep, I got that one wrong. So let's go ahead and start the fourth chapter or fifth chapter. I hope we get to a town. I don't particularly enjoy walking through.
Hunger and cold gnaw at you and the remaining survivors from Bastogne. The constant rain has not helped, and the column slogs along behind you in thick trails of mud. The retreat from Bastogne has not been easy. A week of keeping these people alive with one hand on the wire road has been exhausting. Rations are now reduced to stale crumbs. Bandages are all used and morale is frayed. Yesterday, several refugees gave in to the horror and simply ran into the woods to embrace the inevitable. It was swift, which is what they wanted. In the back of your mind, all you noticed was less mouths to feed. As you force yourself and those in your charge forward into the woods, you see a shift in the colours ahead. Not green after green. Something stark. Walls.
Yay! Open mystery envelope B. On location 3 and path A. Alright, let's. I don't know why this is not working. Alright, there was some kind of issue there. Alright, so let's test this out, make sure it works. Get all of our stuff out of the way here. Oh, we should end that encounter, which makes all that stuff go away. There's okay. All of our stuff is here. We have. Oh man, why does it only say 4? I thought this was supposed to be the number of villagers we had. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And every 2, 9, 10, 11, 12. Well, we rescued 10. So there should be 5 that came from here. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. This should be 13. I'm going to do 10 plus these 3, right? I mean, that's technically what I'm supposed to do. And then it looks like that. I'm just really bothered that this number changed, and I don't know why. Because usually when you save something, everything is in place. And then this is supposed to be the amount of rations we have, which right now is 0. So I'm bothered by that because those 2 should be up there. Anyways, 10 plus these 3 is. That looks right. Yeah, a little perturbed by that. But let's go to story 5. And bam. There we are. Verum. And then we start on location 3. And path A. Okay, extra unique item here. Okay.
The trees thin, not by nature, but by hatchet and axe. The Deepwood is fought here in a battle for sanity. Pulling from the tree line, you see the mighty walls of Verum. You glance back behind you into the woods. The line you lead is long and weak. The trees are swaying in a disconcerting manner, as if trying to keep you in. You urge the broken people forward. They cheer as they see the walls. Cries of thanks and sobbing break out at the sight of them. Some 60 feet high and bristling with spikes at the base, the walls stand vigil against all that would threaten the city. Framed in the light of the rising sun, you can make out patrols of heavily armed guards walking the parapets and watchmen on the walls. Massive gates rise high in their midst, and the great iron bull of Verum glares at you from atop the gate's towers. As you approach, still 30 paces away, a horn sounds through the air, causing all to look up and halt. Atop the walls above the gate, a dozen guards part and make way for a man with a gleaming helmet, topped with a feathered blue plume. He strides forward and extends a warning arm to your company. Bastogne has fallen. We are all that is left. Open the gates, you call. What in the name of the One is this? He shouts, ignoring the fact that you have spoken at all, gesturing to the refugees behind you. You expect to be allowed anywhere near the walls of Verum? These gates do not open for mobs that emerge from the Deepwood. You roll up your sleeves and step forward.
Threatening check. Difficulty 6. Oof. Alright, this is not an easy check. To get a difficulty 6, I think I need to do at least 5. And of course, right there's the fail. This fail system really blows. Alright, so we fail. Like we always seem to do.
Screams from the rear of the line reach your group as you usher everyone toward the gate. I knew it, the captain swears. Close the gate! Close the gate! They've awakened the Deepwood! You turn and see people in the tree line being thrown. Petitions from the refugees rise to a loud crescendo. We cannot risk a breach, the captain retaliates. You've brought danger to this city, and it is my job to protect it, not you. You turn, draw your...
Oh, come on. A round of combat against defense 6. So it's the same thing. We have to survive a 6. It's just that now we get to draw some yellows. So for example, this one gets 2 yellows, and for example, we'll get 3 whites, and watch this be another miss. Oh, we did okay. So 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't need to. I would roll a die for the crit. We don't need to do that. That was the ranger. Same for this person. 2 yellows. 1, 2, 3. A million misses. One hit point lost. 2 yellows and 1 yellow. Alright, so we're going to do the cur. Two, 4, 5, 6. That's a pass. And then we're going to do... He gets 1 yellow. There's 4 left. All 6 of these are gone. I'm going to just draw all 4. There we go. Alright, so only the blade took the damage. I'm okay with that. Could have been a lot worse.
Fiends of flesh and fur claw at the ragged line of survivors. People are dragged into the trees to never be seen again, and you know it will not take long now that the deep wood has woken. Between cleaving arcs of your weapons, you look back at the gates. There is no hope for them opening if they fear a breach, even for Oathsworn. You spy the guard captain atop the walls, staring defiantly at the refugees. He looks over his shoulder for a moment and draws back, bowing fearfully. In his place glides the unmistakable form of one of the watchers, draped in black robes and a heavy, weighted cowl. You cannot see its face beneath the hood, but you can feel its gaze upon you. It continues considering, and, after a moment, raises its raven-headed staff. The gates begin to grind open. The captain of the guard rushes to set warriors at the opening, and you bellow for the survivors to run for the gates. With your backs to the city at the rear of the line, you stand as a shield for the survivors, and as the last few step through, you bolt for the opening.
Uh, Survival check. I thought I was done with these checks. Alright, well, I ruined all the whites because now we're going to just draw nothing but blanks again. Only one blank has come out of yellow, so that means there's 5 out of 11 there. We're not doing yellows this time, it's just whites. So I gotta do a 3 difficulty, so I'm gonna draw 3. We're gonna start with the ranger. Oh, come on. There's just no point to even doing this. Oh, come on. You're a jerk.
As you break from the trees, archers fire down into the masses of flesh that chase you. You fling yourselves through the gate
Okay, this
just
is the
in
blade.
time as it clamps shut. Beyond the wall, bestial howls rise in frustration.
Alright, now the cur. 1. And then the warden. Alright, so 2 more health points lost.
Covered in rain, sweat, and blood, you gaze around at the survivors. A cheer goes up. They clasp hands to your shoulders, crying and thanking you. Everyone knows who saved them. Officials come from the gate offices with sticks and tallying boards to check the survivors' condition and to make sure they brought none of the deep wood in with them. After a time, the survivors begin to disperse into the city, but not before they gather up iron from amongst them as a reward.
1 iron each for every refugee and time tokens the free company has. If you have 5 or more, you also gain a free company trait. Yes! Now that part I'm excited about. Lose all refugees and...
The
Alright,
captain from the wall
I'll let you hear
approaches.
this.
He removes his helm. It wants to see you. Follow me. He leads you through the swarms of people and up a stairway that clings to the side of the outer walls of Verum. He stops at the top and points, unwilling to go any further. It is unclear if it is shadows that hide the watcher's visage, or if its very face is made of them. It walks slowly to the edge of the wall and looks at the new crowd you have brought with you. Report. A rasping voice commands from within the cowl. It listens as you detail the fall of Bastone, the keening cry of the witch, and the trials of the Deepwood. Although its robes pulse and flow with the wind, it seems not to move nor react to any of your tales of woe. Leave me, it says finally. You all too gladly retreat from it. There are many unnerving things in the world, but the Watchers really set your teeth on edge.
Okay, I apologize. I didn't let you read it. Hopefully you were able to hear it just fine. It's just there's just a button to continue at this point. We need to pick one. And I'm starting, like, I was really poo pooing these things. My frustration level is so high that I want to start taking these now. The problem is like, okay, the threat was down here. This one I think we deal with a lot. We deal with barter, threat, and reason quite a lot. These ones, I think we get these more when we're in the journeying through the deep woods, and then of course survival checks. They come up every now and then, but they're more hit and miss. So I could take like a quick witted, and then what that does is it gives us redraws, so we can start passing some of these things. But at the same time, I'm looking at it and I'm like, well, gain two curatives because we want to, you know, buy some. And if I can only buy five, excuse me, I just want to be able to buy two for one. Get 10 of them into the deck there at $4 each. That adds up. The field medic, we can get rid of the injury that the ranger has, and then it's not so bad to have somebody get an injury because we can always heal one every round. This, of course, here is the culprit that's causing us to lose hit points. So I'm at a loss. I don't know which one is like the priority here, and I would tell you that if this storyline gets me to the point where um, we heal through the game and not needing to heal on our own, I want to forego the field medic and take the curatives one because this is going to be the most bang for the buck. Um, this one here, tough as nails. You know how we all lost hit points? Well, this we can get one of those back. That's this is sort of like a compensation for not taking these over here. I only get to pick one though. um, I think that the most helpful is to take field medic. So I'm going to do that. And then, yes, we're in chapter 5. So that means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like, you can do it right now. You don't have to wait. And we get rid of that injury. And I think it gets archived, which means it's out of the game. So I can just put it over here. All right, let's go hit continue.
In the weeks that follow, you acclimatise to civilization. Not long after the events at the gate, a runner brings you an envelope. Opening it, you find a note in fine script. In acknowledgement of your great service to the crown and the fallen city of Bastone, and on the authority of His Royal Highness King Fabian, you are given deed of title to the following property: one tavern of Tonsin Lane, Old Town.
Oh, that's cool.
Needs a tad of cleaning, but nothing these old hands can't fix, Bram says as he rolls up his sleeves and enters the abandoned tavern behind you. It's a fine hall, Midge nods, bounding in and surveying the surroundings. I would reckon you hang trophies over there, eh? Maybe a nice table by the fire to play some pyramids and such. You can make this place quite the centre of town with my help. I do feel, Grey Cane adds as he gently shoulders by you, the addition of a few serving girls might brighten the place a bit. With your
Of
friends
course.
suddenly moving old furniture and fueling the fires with their imagination, you realise that they actually might be right. Our lady is back. Bless her. She's back, Bram says with a tear in his eye. Who? Asks Midge. Bram turns to the lad with a faint smile on his face. The Broken Oak.
We gain another free company trait. Oh,
Needs a tad of cleaning, but nothing these old hands can't fix,
all right.
Bram says as he rolls up his sleeves and enters the
Oh, I gotta
abandoned
pause
tavern
that.
behind you.
All right. It says to go to location 7. The time is still 0, so I don't know. Like if I'm supposed to, you know, actually put the time up here, I will take this off if the time doesn't change. But we get another one. This is like getting Christmas. So I was debating between this one and this one. So I think I want to. I still think I'm starting to understand the value of these, but I'm committed now because we're at a phase where I'm going to be able to buy these. So I'm going to do that right now. And look at that. We got 4 of them by chapter 5. I am excited because if you look at the chart that comes with the game, it says you're only going to get 8 the whole game, and that's just from level ups. But what I'm very pleased to see is that they give you a lot more than just what the level ups do. In fact, chapter 5, we get another one at chapter 6. So when we level up to 6, we'll get another free company trait. And that is good. Very good. And we could actually take like the quick witted before we go and do the story mode or something. So, all right. I am very happy with that. True Grit, well connected. These could be nice. I think the toughest nails might be what I'm leaning towards next. As much as I keep saying I'm leaning towards the one. All right. Let's hit location 7 and see if the time. Oh, excuse me. I had to yawn. And then see if the time goes up by 1.
The new
It
broken
does, by
oak
the way.
smells of wood, ale, and sweat, just as any tavern should. It has taken weeks of Bram commanding a team of men paid in food, Greycane gathering people to lend a hand, and Midge taking credit for everything else. The people of Bastone come to offer thanks and share a simple meal of root and potato porridge. They are settling into Verum and come to you sharing stories of their new homes. They speak of the overwhelming hugeness of it, of their new jobs, new lives, and the strange plant-like adendri living in the green streets, and even of the strange sickness being found in the cobbles. The oak becomes a gathering place for the remnants of Bastone. Without meaning to, you gain a band of regulars more than happy to raise a mug in your honour and tell of the comings and goings of the city. For a time, all is well, and you can forget the nightmares of the fall of Bastone.
Okay, at some point, I would expect if we're resting, healing, eating, why are my hit points still below 6? All Oathsworn return all injury cards to injury deck and reshuffle it. I just paid money to get rid of one. I didn't know, and I know some of you guys are diehards. I'm sorry. I'm taking my 4 back. Or no, 5 back. I'm taking it back. I'm taking all of it. And what that does, see, now that I'm aware of things, this is where a playthrough will change things, right? I wonder what's going on with this particular one. I'm just going to delete that one. There we go. So, all the injuries heal. That's good. Good to know. It means that I didn't need to be in such a rush to take the field medic yet. Um, but like I'm formulating a plan. Like if I ever played this again, could I go after the quick-witted here and just go bing, bing, bing and take 3 of these? And I think I can because I'm learning that quartermaster was not super effective. It only helps you when you're in the Deepwood journey. Um, although it saved us a whole hit point loss with the number of refugees we had. The field medic was not necessary at all, at least not yet. Um, yeah. Anyways, let's keep going.
Days later, you descend the main stairs to the Hunter's Hall. Arrayed before you is a comfortable scene of patrons and allies dotted about the room. At the bar, Greycane takes a sip from a mug and coughs, spluttering. 7 healths! What's that? Across the bar, Bram furrows his eyebrows. Did you decant this from an Ursus's chamber pot? Greycane continues. It's not that bad. I rather like it. Molly, one of the serving girls, says, smiling encouragingly at Bram. Don't encourage him, Molly, or he might make another one and finish me off, Grey Cane replies. Taking a swig himself, Bram says, Well, it needs a little something. I'll get it right. It just needs some experimentation. Grey Cane looks over his shoulder, noticing you. Hi, good morning. Some news came earlier. Looks like there's a contract. There's time enough for that, though. I know some of the others want to talk to you.
Talk to each ally once. So, alright, I'm gonna move this to the other screen so we can verify all these. The first one says, if Lysine is your ally, and she should be. She should be one of the battle ones, right here. So,
Lysine beckons you over to a table, where she cuts some fresh herbs. You've seen what I am, and still you let me stay here. Thank you. Lysine speaks slowly. I wanted to repay you. There was space enough for a herb garden on the roof, so I've begun planting. I have some amber, so the plants will grow shortly. I'll be able to tend your wounds and do a service to the city.
okay, next one is Cedric. I don't know if, oh no, we do have Cedric, the rat catcher.
Ever the odd addition. You can hear Cedric snoring from back upstairs. Rarely awake during the day, he scurries off at sundown each night and returns come morning with a handful of rats for you. It's his way of showing gratitude for bringing him to the massive labyrinthine sewers of Verum. They make excellent additions for some of Bram's stews, and he supplies the tavern with a fair amount of ingredients this way.
Eating rats is not my idea of a good time. The mute boy is your ally. We for sure have him. Right here.
The mute boy from Bastone and Midge sit beside the fireside playing a round of pyramids. The boys often do this, though the mute boy does not speak. He smiles a lot more these days. Midge has been attempting to teach him a few phrases in the strange hand-clap language of the knock that Midge has picked up from the Adendri in the green streets. He sweeps up after the doors close and seems content and, more importantly, safe.
Celeste. Grey King, Bram. I thought we had Celeste too. How do we not have Celeste? Or is Celeste the Underway's overseer? I know we don't have Dane. Well, here, we can just check. Okay, that's Dane. Steet. We missed him. And then, yeah, now we're up to Harold. I think we have Celeste. Celeste, I think, is. I think this card is. I think this is Celeste, the Underway's overseer. Oh, there it is. It was covered up. Oh, I'm so silly.
Celeste, dressed in her best, is cleaner than you have ever seen her. Going somewhere, you ask? To get my hands dirty. I've made progress with the Underway's bosses here. They're having a jackbug problem, and I think I have the answer. Today I finally get back underground. Your hospitality has been noted, but the Underways is on the other side of the city, and I must be closer to work for efficiency. I thank you, and I want you to have this. She takes out a pale root from a satchel. This is a maiden's kiss. It's rare, and good for what ails you. I hope you don't find need of it. But, well, there it is, just in case. She straightens, and without looking back, heads out of the door.
So it says archive the Celeste ally card, and archive in this game means it's out of the game. So I won't delete it. I'm just gonna shove it over here somewhere. And then it says we gain a curative. So we're just gonna take one of these curatives and put it in the deck. All right, the next one is Dane, which we don't have, and then Steet, which we just confirmed we don't have that. If you talk to each ally you have, I
You
did.
walk up to Grey Cane at the bar. He starts. A few days back, a group went deepside. A free company and 40 loggers went to gather lumber. Only 2 returned. Lord Reiner, bit of an ass if you ask me, needs the wood still. He asked for you personally. He wants the heroes of Bastone to look into it and keep the new boys safe. Word of your exploits has gotten around, and the moniker has followed you these last weeks. It seems the city criers have been ordered to expound and embellish your company's exploits to keep men's minds away from the loss of one of the great cities. This forced a notoriety upon you, whether you wanted it or not. I know setting up the Broken Oak has taken up a lot of your iron recently, Grey King continues. And though Reiner may not be bright, he is rich. I suggest you see what the good man has to say about the situation. You agree you need a contract more than just the iron. You need the practice. Comfort can kill a free company.
All right.
You walk up to Grey Cane at the bar. He starts. You make your way toward the noble quarter to meet Lord Reiner. Inevitably, you come to one of the old stone bridges that spans the River Seine, or at least what's left of it. Many years ago, the deep wood sucked dry the river, and now the gutters take its place. Thousands of Verum's poorest huddle there in shacks clustered in the mud of the riverbed, in the shadow of once great ships, forever moored in the mire. Smoke from flesh, you saw it, snaps a man as he leaps from a spot by the bridge. He is wearing a selection of rags and rats that would make a rat catcher jealous. Doomsayers aren't uncommon in Verum. It's fairly easy to be right regarding predictions of death and destruction with the Deepwood at the gates. You try to dismiss the man, but then he pipes up. And running from the moor, it chases you through the walls until over your shoulder a city falls. That part of your tale was not common knowledge. Who are you? You ask. Unevenly, the crazed man scampers up to you, his face a mask of grime and wiry beard, his age unknowable under the muck of the gutter. He makes a sign of Pot's peace and bites his thumb. Herald! Herald what? I prefer the young and old, the wet, the dry, the hot, the cold, rarely sought, though often found. I visit all above the ground. There is something about the look behind his eyes. He knows more than he should about you, and he knows something else he seems to want to tell you.
2 paths lay before you. The herald is speaking a riddle. If you wish, you can try to decipher it, or you can make your meeting with Lord Reiner. You will not have time to do both.
You make your way toward the noble.
The wet, the dry, the hot, the cold. Rarely sought, though often found, I visit all above the ground. I don't know. Um, I'm usually pretty good at these video game riddles, but I guess this isn't the video game riddle. So, like, I was starting to think, okay, is it things like a river? But I'm like, yeah, young river, old river. What does visit all above the ground mean? Then you start thinking, okay, all, you start thinking like air. And, I don't know. I'm still So one of the thoughts I have is these are opposites. So young and old, wet and dry, hot and cold. So they're opposites of each other. But the part I get lost on is what does it mean by I visit all above the ground? Rarely sought, though often found. Like, okay, so do you seek an opinion? Do you seek the truth? Do you seek. See, and these are rarely, like, people rarely ever want these things, but they often find them, and then he visits all above the ground. I still don't have it all figured out. I mean, the opposites do help me in some ways. So I need to make a decision here. We don't have to do this. We can just go talk to the whoever, the Lord. So I'm digging deep. There was a riddle that's sort of the opposite of this. It says, uh, often sought but rarely found. And the answer to that riddle is peace. So, rarely sought but often found, it wouldn't be war. Oh, you know what? It's death. Nobody seeks death, but they often find it. Anybody above the ground is visited by death because once you're under the ground, you're already dead. I don't know about the young and old. I mean, I guess, because the young are weak and the older are weak, so they tend to die the most. And then, you die because you're drowning, because you're thirsty, you're burning, or you're frozen. I'm going to say death. Let's go for it. Write down what you think the correct answer is. It's death, but if they say something like Death Keeper or whatever, I'm still taking credit. I'm just warning you now. All right, let's go for it. If your answer to Harold's riddle was death, yes. Okay. We all get a
A
battle flow.
gap-toothed grin stretches the herald's face. Death, yes, death is the answer, and life is the question. Are you them, no matter time or death or both, will tell as they always do. I have forgotten the answer. I was so much older then. He looks quickly to the side, as if there was a loud noise. Following his glance, there is nothing there. I know, but I know not where. I say I do, but I don't. Time to go. Verum is vast, and the memories so many. Lead on. Where to, you ask? The man calling himself the herald gives you a quizzical look, as if you should know this part already. Neither here nor near, in shell of shell, no green hand here does dwell. Blood trickles out amongst the stones, seeping still from paths of bones. For all his ramblings, the herald seems to want to show you something important.
Well, we're going to do this again. Find the location on the map the Herald is talking about.
A gap-toothed grin stretches the herald's face. Death, yes, death is the answer, and life is the
Right, I'm going to shut this off. Neither here nor near, in shell of shell, no green hand here does well. Blood trickles out amongst the stones, seeping still from pile of bones. Ay, ay, ay. So what are the locations? Let's look at the map here. And then... So we got location 2, which is the cobbles. Location 3, which is King's Gate. 4 is Green Street. 6, the Apothecary.
The tavern is
Oh,
not
no,
a
no.
pleasant one, but at least it is warm and dry.
I did not mean to
It is
click on that.
clear if you know who to talk to, anything or anyone can be had for a price. Knives.
We're going back. All right. Location 9 is the tavern. 12, barracks. 13, market. And 15, church. 19, banksmith. That's a lot of choices. So the riddle was neither here nor near in shell of shell. I have no idea what that means. No green hand here does dwell. So the green thing, I think, remember they were talking about these leaf people? These green people? So if no green hand here does dwell, that means that they don't live here. So, um, right here is the green streets, for example. So we don't want to go to location 4. Yeah, that's one of the options, is location 4. So no green hand here does dwell. So we don't want to go to green streets. Blood trickles out amongst the stones. I don't know where that would be. Seeping steel from pile of bones. Yeah, I this riddle is not helping me very much. I'm gonna struggle. I should have known when I was struggling with getting the death thing right. Um, he wants to show me something important.
A gap-toothed grin.
Well, first thing we want to do is we do want to send our person to go buy some stuff. So first thing I want to do is look at the cards, see if there's anything in here that we are missing out on that we absolutely need to have. And I'm currently seeing not really. I mean, we definitely would like some items. I don't think anybody's missing any items. But we want to sell. That's right. We want to sell some items. So it would cost us 5 to send a runner if we don't want to go to the banksmith and waste time. That'll cost us 5 to send a runner. But then this will sell for 1, 2, half, right? 2 more for 4, 5. That's going to round down to 2. That's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 15, I'm going to save that. Or no, yeah, because it's leather, I'll save that. So I think we said 15, right? So I'll spend the 5 to get 10 back. And I'll just take the 10 and throw it in, so we're up to 54. Right? So we're doing the runner thing. That was worth spending 5 to get 10 back. Now we're going to do the curative thing. So that's going to cost 5 plus 5 each. And so we are allowed to buy 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5. But remember, when I buy one, I get 2. So 5, 10, 15, 20. I can spend 25. And I have to spend 5 more, so that's 30. So there's 10, 20. And I don't know what's happening to these tokens, but we'll just delete them. 25, 6, 7, 8, 9, so 30, and then that still puts us to 24, which is a good place to be. All right, so we bought our 5, but every time we buy one, we get another. Now, one rule thing that you guys could argue is, hey, you're only allowed to buy 5 per chapter, so if you buy one, that gives you 2, and you buy a second one, that gives you 4, and then you're done, right? The fifth one, you just get the fifth one. I'm looking at it as I'm buying 5, but every time I buy one, I get a second one. I hope you can understand how there's 2 different ways to interpret this, but I do fully understand as well that I don't think it's very clear. So I'm technically buying 10 of these for the price of 5. And then I'm going to put it in, and yes, now I have 34 cards in this sucker, and at least, let's see, 14 to 15 of them are, so we're at about half of them are curative, which is good. Okay, so that did cost a lot of money, especially with the runner. But now let's get back to the business of traveling. I'm going to get a drink. I'm going to pause. I'll be right back. I don't know. I have no idea where to go. I'm not going to use this time to look it up, I promise. I don't even know what I would look up, but I am going to at least think about it here. Okay, I'm back. Coffee's ready. I I actually think that this riddle thing is the dumbest thing to put into this chapter. We own a freaking inn. It's almost like when you're playing a game, you finally get your own keep, and then you do things to like expand it and build it, and then you get more. You have to increase the security. Like I'm thinking like Pillars of Eternity or even Baldur's Gate. Um, when you own something, that just adds another like okay, now there's this whole other element of the game where I'm managing my tavern instead of walking around doing some stupid um, riddles that make no sense. Um, I'm sure everything makes sense once you finally read it. I just okay. So let's break this down again. No green hand here does well. So it's not saying don't go to the. It says no green hand here does well. So the green hands would do well on the green streets. So don't go there, is what I'm guessing. Blood trickles out amongst the stones. I have no idea what that means. I mean, underways, they have like in their mind, like, what's the cobbles? Like, those are houses, right? That's just where people live. The underways is here and here. Those are just mushrooms, right? Seeping still from pile of bones. I guess you could argue that the church has, like, it might have like a graveyard or something associated with it. Let's go to the church. So I'm going to check 15, which causes a city event to happen. So our city event deck is here. Shuffle, 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 and then we'll just take the top one. If Gamel, okay, we have him. The boy just looked like Tam. Pay the vendor iron equal to your current chapter. Yeah, we'll pay him. Stupid Gamel. I assume this goes back in, so Gamel's gonna make us pay more iron later. That's like if you ever played Wasteland 2, there's this guy named Scotchmo. He's a drunk that he keeps stealing money from you because he's buying booze. And the game doesn't tell you that he's doing it. He's just all of a sudden you notice that your inventory is going down. uh, Jerk Moes. My dog is looking at me. They're jerks. All right, let's do the church, which was location. 15.
Stretches the herald's face.
It says before moving on, click all the instruction buttons. There's only one in. Oh, hold on.
Death, yes, death is the answer, and life is the question. Are you them, no matter time or death or both, will tell as they always do? I have forgotten the answer. I was so much older then.
This church must have been the first building here. The stones are crumbling, or replaced with others of different colours and qualities. What was once magnificent displays of stained glass are now patched with wooden boards and cloth. People stream in the front door. Here they get a watery, warm stew of potato and salt. A young, frail girl without shoes pushes fearlessly past you and hurries to the church steps.
Her name is Anya, the herald explains. I don't think we've met and should not. Let us go.
Alright, so that's not a good location. I don't think the banksmith or the apothecary matter, so we can rule those out. The gutters are not. Okay, what's location 13 again? We got the market, the barracks. I mean, would blood spill at the barracks? Location 6, the apothecary. 4 is the Green Streets. 3, King's Gate, and the cobbler. Or cobbles. What is that? Cobbles. Let's do the cobbles because I don't know what the heck it is.
A thick malaise shrouds the cobbles. The sound of the rest of the city seem dampened and distant, as if the air is bloated with pestilence. Word of the sickness has reached you through Greycane, but you couldn't imagine it had spread so fast. Not everyone is affected, of course, but so many of the faces you see in the doorways and windows carry grief, and wet coughs break the clawing silence. You each pull out cloths and fashion makeshift masks to breathe through. The herald signals you to follow. Several streets later, you ask him what he is looking for.
The more you take from it, the bigger it gets,
he mutters, searching the walls.
Okay. Well, I think we. Well, there's some instructions. Let's read the instructions. Write down what you think the answer to the latest riddle is. Oh my gosh. Well, the good news is we picked the cobbles, and God only knows why the cobbles satisfied the previous puzzle. That was just because I didn't know what a cobbles was, I clicked on it. The more you take from it, the bigger it gets. Well, that's like a hole. You know, like, so the more you take from a hole, the bigger it gets. Or like empty space, right? Well, if you take empty space, I guess space doesn't get bigger, but a hole does. I'm stuck on a hole. I don't know. Um, if that's the right answer, this is much easier than the last one was. All right, so let's see. I'm gonna go with hole. There we go.
Ducking through the hole reveals a small courtyard beyond, shouldered between these three neighbouring tenements. Lining the area are small mounds of bodies in various states of decay.
The dead.
The herald says simply as he emerges through the hole. From the position and broken nature of the bodies, you can see many have been dropped here from the tenement windows high above, casualties of the cobble's curse. Your brows furrow. Has this all been a waste of time? A madman's search for plague bodies? They should be burned, of course, but this is barely something the Watch would care about, let alone a free company. You turn to the herald. As if reading your mind, he points a finger to one of the piles. There, you catch sight of something moving. You draw your weapons and approach with caution. It bursts from the pile.
Survival check. Difficulty 6. Okay, and then just in case we're keeping track at home, survival check would have been the bushcraft. That's the thing. I'm like very tempted to do these, but then it's like, I got 3 choices now, and then I'm gonna choose the wrong ones. A survival 6 is not friendly. We got 6 of these left. 5 of those are gone. So I know I can draw all 6 of these. So I'm gonna do that for the ranger. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So you go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I knew that was going to succeed because, well, it would. All right, so now we got to do the blade. And I got to pause again real quick. My apologies. All right, so 1 survived. The blade. We're back to a fresh deck here. I'll do 5. 1, not good. 3, 4. There it is. The fail. The 5th one. Uh, I'm assuming he loses a hit point. I don't know. Then the next one we'll do 5. This is the cur. We're up to 3 blanks. That means there's 3 out of the 8 here. So if I draw 5, there's a real good likelihood I'm going to get them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then this is the warden. He failed. So I think the blade and the warden both failed. So let's see what happens. Oh, if any succeed. Yeah, we had one.
Your hand shoots out and catches the flying maggot in midair, just before it plunges into your ally's face. Some 2 feet long with gaping mandibles, it wriggles violently in your grip, screeching. Tensing, you crush the life from the grub, and its wings stop buzzing.
Okay, so whoever succeeded gets a redraw token. You succeeded. And the warden succeeded. The other 2... No, the warden failed. The cur succeeded.
You know what this is.
What is it? Okay, special encounter rules box is done.
It may be the source of the plague. Bloatflies have been known to enter cities in search of easy prey, flying over the walls by night to catch the unwary. What you caught was only its larva, laid in the bodies to gorge until grown enough to leave the nest. Bloatflies do not travel far from a good food source, no doubt retreating to the woods by day and returning at night. There is no specific contract for this beast, but the pact leaves a standing writ of reward for all beasts' heads that can be proven to threaten a city.
So, I want both money and help the people. But you know what? We're going to stick with our mission. We're doing it for the people of the city.
The wet coughing from inside a nearby tenement makes up your mind. Resolved, you head for the King's Gate.
It will cost you time. And we're at time 4 right now. So let's look. Like, we already spent the money. I mean, we're well in advance. So we could do 2 of them. But see, this gives us empower token. I'm okay because we spent the money and did the trades already without having to use the time. We used the runner. So we're going to do trade with neither.
You raise your oath marks as you approach the impenetrable gate of the city. A guardsman tolls a bell 3 times, and the gate grumbles open, just wide enough for you to pass. The guards at the outside post watch as you gird yourselves for travel into the tree line. Marking your compass, you head off to the northwest. As the gate closes, the herald scrambles through to join you.
So we all get a redraw token. You may let the herald join your party. If you do, you gain an ally card. And yeah, I gotta put this on the other screen. Of course, we're letting all these people join our party. There he is, the herald. And then we get Deepwood 29 and City Event 26. Well, that's not helpful. I don't know why that one says 26 and 18, but anyways, that's 26 right there. All right, we are done with that.
You are barely into the trees when you hear shouting. Bloatflies are not known for travelling great distances, so it is no surprise to find it so close to the city as it swoops down into the middle of a company of loggers whose hatchets and axes are swung too slowly as it zips through them. It is a grotesque scene as the abomination plunges its sting deep into a man's gut. His body begins to swell and distort as he writhes in agony, lifted from the ground as the bloatfly hovers on massive translucent wings. The insectile head flits to your free company, and you see nothing, nothing at all in those cold, faceted eyes. Not waiting to find out what happens next, you charge the gargantuan insect.
Oh, these things sound horrible. Okay, open mystery box 5. Proceed to chapter. There it is. Alright, so we are proceeding to chapter 5, which would be this. So, more villagers, a whole crap ton of them. These flying maggots that look so tiny and simple. Looks like there's 3 of them. Watch them become horrendous. And they're probably going to turn these into zombies. So we start here at the bottom. We're going to do all that in the next mission. But let's just do our final stuff. First of all, we're going to gain the unique item. We're going to gain a token. So I'm going to check the box for the unique item. And then we all gain a power token. Oh, while I'm at it, we also are going to gain a defense and a redraw. So defense and redraw for everybody. Defense, redraw, and for whatever reason he doesn't have a power token, so we'll give him one from over there. Defense, redraw, and power. Okay, so I think we're ready to start the encounter, which will be the next video. The only comments I have is I'm liking the Kerr less and less the further we go. He is squishy. Um, I'm finding that these lethality tokens are worthless. I do like his skills though. Like I think his skill deck is fun. It's the his primary power just seems worthless. I'm liking what the archer does, although I do have to be careful because last time I played her carelessly. I actually think as far as leather users go, I would want to go back to a cloth. I frankly I miss the witch, and so uh, part of me is like, well, maybe I should swap the cur out for the witch, but I'm gonna leave him. It's just it's in my mind. Just letting you know. Um, uh, or the Grove Maiden for that matter. I thought the Grove Maiden was fun too. The Warden is totally fine. In fact, I still think I like the Penitent more, just because his battle flow skill is less helpful than the Empower, um, the one that Penitent has, and the Blade has lived up to everything. I like him. I liked the Warbear. I did complain a little bit that the Warbear was a little not enough attacks, but I think both of them are fantastic at what they do. This one, of course, is more offensive than the Warbear, um, so I think I like it a little bit more. And yeah, I think as far as my assessment of the characters, those are all good. The only character I've not played so far is the Priest here. I definitely like the Penitent. The Harbinger did a lot of damage, but he was very squishy. The Huntress, we struggled, but I think I like the companion. Oh, I never played the Exile either. So there's two characters I still haven't tried. But anyways, yeah. So you're getting a glimpse inside my mind. I'm progressing this campaign really well, and all I want to do is start over with these new characters. That's just what happens. And when I played Baldur's Gate 3, same thing. It's amazing that I finally beat the game. I actually beat it like 3 times now, but it's just amazing. And I even beat it on the honor mode, which is insane because I made it like all the way to Act 3 and I got party wiped and I still played it again. But anyways, it's my insanity. I um, I love games that give me choices like this, but I want a party of 12 because I want to play every one of them. Anyways, thanks for watching. As always, stay awesome.